What is up, guys? Slife Red Duelist back at it again with another deck profile. I really wanted to do this one with the actual cards, but unfortunately I had to get this video out for this week. I didn't have the time to get the stuff together. Rest assured, I do have all this shit. Maybe you'll see an actual physical video with this deck sometime soon. You know, or sometime in the future, if we ever get off our ass and do more dank deck duels. You know what I'm saying. We're gonna get right into it. This is the big one, the one we've been promising, is Rainbow NEOS Turbo. Let's get right on into it. So we got 3 copies of NEOS. He's your big guy. He's the guy that you wanna, you know, set up all your crazy shenanigans with. Turn 0 Rainbow NEOS is a pretty dumb thing when you actually consider it. So, you know, he's just your big vanilla. He's your guy for all of your meme shit. Like 99% of your extra deck is for NEOS. The 1 copy of Rainbow Dragon just to go into the Rainbow NEOS play. That's pretty much it. You could definitely put it up to 2, especially considering I'm playing 2 Rainbow NEOS. But I think just the 1 is fine. You should definitely not need to make multiple Rainbow NEOS in a game. If you make it once, you should definitely win. But you can definitely fiddle around and play 2 to actually fully utilize this. 1 copy of Honest NEOS, 2500, you know, attack is really fucking strong. And a lot of times in testing this deck, you don't get a lot of big boards going. You just gotta sit out there with a couple hero monsters. And having this card to protect you is very, very strong. YuGiOh Stratos, he's back, you know. Search, pop spells and traps, that's a real effect, guys. YuGiOh, you can only play YuGiOh, but you need it. Beautiful. Triple Solid Soldier, so he's him and the next one, Shadow Mist, are ones that I can definitely see fiddling around with and going to fit in more stuff like another Rainbow Dragon or another E-Call. But Solid Soldier summons 1 from the hand when he's normal summoned, and if he's sent to the graveyard by a spell effect, you special a hero from your grave. Except himself. So, definitely a very, very strong card. Very good card. Shadow Mist, hero players all around the world know what you do. Special summon, search a quick play, mask change, pretty much. Mask change to 2. When it's sent to the graveyard, you search for a hero. So, Shadow Mist is one of your... It's Stratos, but not Stratos. It's bad Stratos. But it's the one that's at 3, so you can play it at 3. And then we got triple Neospace Connector. So when he's normal summoned, you summon a Neospatian or Neos from your hand or deck in defense. And then you can, tribute him to target a Neospatian or Neos in your graveyard and special it in defense. So, you know, 1 card, get all your bullshit out and get into your contact fusions, like who gives a shit. You know, Neospace Connector is a very, very strong card and all those, you know, Goki Extra Link FTK bullshits, you know, ban Neospace Connector, like, right guys? And then we play our, we'll go on now, we play our 3 Neospacians, we play 1 Dark Panther, 1 Grand Mole, and 1 Aqua Dolphin. You playing 3 to go into the Cosmo Neos because he needs 3 Neospacians with different attributes, and the Dark Panther and the Grand Mole are needed for Nebula Neos, who's a very, very, very good card. In case you didn't know this, Nebula Neos is a very good card. And then the last 3 monsters you play are 3 Ash Blossoms, very standard. I had this at 2 for a little bit, but I felt like the deck needed a little more protection against other dumb bullshit, so I chose to play 3. Onto the spells, we play 2 E-Call to search a hero. Very standard stuff. 1 hero lives. I could even see taking this out, but it is a generic hero card that's just really fucking good. Being able to proc half of your hero shit from deck for pretty much no cost is disgusting. Triple Neos Fusion. So this card is fucking disgusting. You summon any fusion monster that lists exactly 2 monsters, including Neos. So, you know. And, 1 more, and see this guy, you can't. You can summon him. And then you special summon it, ignoring summoning conditions, and then you cannot special for the rest of the turn. And then if a fusion monster that would list NEOS as a material would be destroyed by a card effect or returned to the extra deck, you banish it from grave instead. That's one card I didn't have in here. NEOS Knight is another card. He's a very good card, but you could definitely make room. You know what, we'll do that right now. On the fly, deck editing. One copy of NEOS Knight. Bam. Bam. Professional. One Rhoda, search out your warriors, very standard stuff. 2 Miracle Contact. So Miracle Contact is the card that made a NEOS Space Infusions good. So you shuffle from hand, field, or graveyard the materials on a NEOS Fusion, and then you special summon it. So, disgusting. Disgusting! You know, ignoring summoning conditions as well. So, it's very, very, very disgusting card. 2 Miracle Fusion. Miracle Fusion gets you out your Shinings, your Ab-Zeros, your pretty much everything. Miracle Fusion is a really good card. The only thing that goes against Miracle Fusion in this deck is that you can't summon Rainbow NEOS with it because he's not a elemental hero. So, you know, take it as you will. This is another card that could be filled around with 1-0 if you really feel like it. So here's my spicy tech. This card is called Fifth Hope. So Fifth Hope is you target 5 elemental hero cards in your graveyard and shuffle them into the deck and then draw 2 cards. And then if you had no other cards on your side of the field or in your hand and you activated it, you draw 3 instead. So, as Pot of Avarice, you definitely have enough hero monsters to go around to shuffle into the deck to do half your fucking bullshit with. I think this card is fine as a one-of. It's very, very decent as a one-of. You know, just hanging around. But, you know, there is the call that you can just take it out, because why the fuck are you playing this? 2 Match Change to go into your Master Heroes, very standard. 3 Called by the Graves to ensure you get your Rainbow NEOS out, because you can Ash this. So it's very disgusting. Called by the Grave, very good card. Welcome back to 3 for like 2 lists now. Yeah. 1 Super Poly, because this card is still existing in the format. That is, like, unnecessary. I don't know why they let this card exist. Alright, and then the last card we play is 1 copy of Next. So you special summon any number of Neospatians or Elemental Hero Neos with different names from your hand or graveyard in defense, but their effects are negated. And while any of those monsters are on the field, you can also special summon monsters from the extra deck like fusion monsters. And you can only activate 1 of this per turn, and if you control no cards, you can activate this card from your hand. So, they gave NEOS some Dolce Palooza that you can activate from the hand on turn 1, and just shit out a board of dumb bullshit. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. We're doing more on the fly editing here, because I'm dumb. So, there we go. We'll play the better one. Alright, now onto the extra deck. 1 copy of Cosmo NEOS. So Cosmo NEOS is a very disgusting meme-generating card. It's like they looked at the old NEOS fusions and they're like, you know what, I like this, but let's make them good. So he needs NEOS and 3 Neospatians with 3 different attributes, and then he's the generic shuffle back to special. And then if he is special from the extra deck, you can activate this effect. For the rest of the turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects on the field. And your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to that activation. And then during the end phase, you return it to the extra deck, and if you do, destroy all cards your opponent controls. So it's a gigantic board wipe that cold waves your opponent pretty much for free. Let that sink in. Really fucking good. But he's a one-of. He's really situational. Very few times are you going to be able to actually get all of his materials out, and there's very few times where it'll actually be necessary to get his materials out. Because, like I said, Rainbow NEOS is your win condition. Rainbow NEOS is your very, very good card here. He's the one that you're going to want to go into all the time, but if you can make a Cosmo NEOS and you can just blow people back with it, go for it. Alright, so we got 2 copies. 2. Count them 2 copies of Rainbow NEOS. So he needs NEOS and an Ultimate Crystal Monster, apparently. which is Rainbow Dragon, Rainbow Dark Dragon here. There's a whole name errata bullshit thing with that. We're not gonna get into that. It's really fucking stupid. So you must be fusioning someone with the above materials. It cannot be special summoned by other ways, but you know, ignoring summoning conditions is pretty good. And then you, once per turn, you can activate one of these effects. So you either send a monster, a spell, or a card from the top of your deck to the graveyard to shuffle back all monsters your opponent controls, all spell and traps your opponent controls, or all cards in their graveyard, respectively, for each one of those. So, Rainbow NEOS is also a 4,500 attacker, you know, big guy, for no goddamn reason. But his ability to shuffle back, non-targeting, spinning removal is crippling to a lot of decks. This card, in the right situation, can win you a game, just instantly, upon playing it. And it is so unnecessarily good. That's why he's the one card. Stop messing with my videos, Mark. Alright, so we got one copy of Nebula NEOS. So Nebula NEOS is actually the best card in the deck. So he needs NEOS, Grand Mole, and Dark Panther. Using typical NEOS Contact Fusion. If you special summon the extra deck, you draw cards equal to the number of cards your opponent controls. And then you negate the effects of one face-up card on the field until the end of this turn. Keep in mind, this effect is not once per turn. It's not going to come up in this deck, but I've seen it happen before, and it's really fucking dumb, but that is not once per turn. So during the end phase, you shuffle it into the extra deck, and then if you do, you banish all cards on the field face down. So he evenly matches the whole board, can potentially, if your opponent... optimal play here. If your opponent has one extra monster zone, or if they have both, then you have a zone that you can summon to. So 1, 2, 5 monsters, that's 7. 5 spells and traps, that's 12, and that field spell, you just drew 13 cards when you summon this. Count them. 13 cards. That's insane. Like, actually insane when you think about it. But what I said, they have like a defusion that I've seen this happen in a replay once, where a dude summoned this, it got negated, and then he used it because it was a quick play to shuffle back all the bring back all the materials. He drew all the cards and then negated the effect, and then made another one and drew the same amount of cards. I think he drew 16 cards in total, which is disgusting. One copy of DN, so when it destroys a monster in battle and sends it to the grave, you special level 4 or lower hero monster from your deck. So DN's very simple, match change, earth target, your big one is going to be solid soldiers, and pretty much your only one. One copy of Anki, so he can attack directly, but if he does, his battle damage is halved. When you destroy some opponent's monster by battle and send it to the grave, you add a change quick play card from your deck to your hand. So he's pretty much another Shadow Mist that can, search for quick plays, can attack directly for 1400, because he's 28, yeah, 28. He's another match change target that you go off of Dark Law. Really cool guy. Broken in Duel Links, by the way. So, one copy of Shining, so he needs a hero and a light, must be fusioned. Gains 300 attack for each of your banished elemental hero monsters, and when he's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target up to 2 of your banished elemental hero monsters and add those targets to your hand. So, if you're going to Miracle Fusion into this, your targets are probably going to be, it's probably going to be a NEOS, so you can get your NEOS to your hand and then immediately NEOS Fusion with it. Stuff like that. Shining has always been a very good card since he's come out, I feel like. So next ones we got our Master Hero Acid and Ab-Zero, and I'm going to mention them together because they have to work together. You have one way to summon Ab-Zero in this deck regularly, because I don't play Bubble Man like a lot of builds do. A lot of hero builds. I play Aqua Dolphin, so he's your water. So if you get Aqua Dolphin in the grave and you banish him for Ab-Zero, then you have access to Acid. So Ab-Zero, he gains 500 attack for each water monster on the field except himself, and then if he leaves the field, you destroy all monsters your opponent controls. and then Master Hero Acid, so he's a Master Hero, so you need the quick plays. And then when he is special summoned, you destroy all spells and traps your opponent controls, and if you do, all monsters they control lose 300 attack. So, well, I know this is an old combo, it's big brain, but a lot of people don't know this. So you summon Absolute Zero, and then you mash change into Acid, and you nuke the opponent's entire board. It's really fucking disgusting. Alright, so we got one copy of Brave Neos here. So he needs Neos and a level 4 or lower effect monster, must be special summoned, must be fusion summoned, gains 100 attack for each hero or Neospatian monster in your graveyard, and when he destroys your opponent's monster by battle, you add a spell or trap that specifically lists Neos and his text from your deck to your hand. So he's gonna be your big searcher guy, get your, meme cards out. Next one is the one we flip-flopped on. I played one Grand Neos. He's basically just a compulse using the Grand Mole. Just because I don't have the Neos Knight. But Neos Knight is definitely, I think, a better option. So he needs Neos and a warrior monster. Must be blah blah blah, Can attack equal to half of the attack of the warrior monster used for his summon. So if you use an honest Neos, if you use 2 Neos, he is very strong boy. Very, very strong boy. 3750, something like that. And then what is this? Other than the elemental hero Neos? Oh, so if you can't use 2 Neos then. Okay. So any other one. So Stratos would probably be your Honesty Neos would be your best option. What is your other effect? He can attack twice during each battle phase, and if he attacks or is attacked, your opponent takes no battle damage. So he's basically just a big monster beater over since your opponent can't take any damage. So these two are like flip-floppable, I feel like. Grand Neos is good for like a meme, but Neos Knight is a very good card. Dark Law, very generic. Master Hero Blast, so it's between him and Great Tornado, or whatever the other Master Hero is, I don't remember his name, but I think Blast is a better card. So he needs a win, so Stratos. If this card is special summoned, you target a face-up monster your opponent controls, and its attack becomes half its current attack and defense. Or attack becomes half its current attack. Once returned during either player's turn, pay 500. Target a set spell or trap your opponent controls, and return it to the hand. So if your opponent sets a trap, you can just straight bounce it. If you're scared of those, storming mirror forces like me, you don't gotta be afraid anymore. We played 2 links, pretty much just to fill out space. We play Lamphalinkus and Underclock Taker. You're probably never going to really be making these, because anytime you're going to have multiple monsters on the field, they're probably going to be like these guys. And you're going to want to contact freeze them away, because we're only playing 2 Miracle Contact. Miracle Contact is a very good card, but it's not as good as it should be. But I digress. So, like I said, you can swap these 2 boys around, do it however you feel like it. I like Grand Neos a little bit more, just because it's funnier. But I digress. That's going to be it for this one, guys. Check us out on TCGPlayer, Sora Online. Like, subscribe. Slide for Duels Forever. We'll be seeing you. Peace.